Joining us. Thank you to all. I hope you've all received your Uber Eats lunch vouchers. If you have not, please email me directly at jack@cctv.net so I can help solve that. Um, I'm gonna pass the mic over to Nathan Vank now from Video, so that we can get. Let's see. Do you have your host permissions yet? There we go. Perfect. All
Awesome.
right. When you are ready,
Jack,
Nathan, take it away.
yes, thank you for the introduction, Jack. I am Nathan with Iron Yoon. I'm over here in California and I work with cctv.net and we're a brand new vendor. We're excited to tell you a little bit more about the company and to show you the product just a little bit. And if you have any questions, please feel free to send them over to Jack. He will field those and we will get them answered at the end here. I don't want to kill anybody with PowerPoint. I'm going to try to get through this as quickly as possible and then hop over to the live product demonstration. So to tell you a little bit about the company and the company's been around for about 10 years now, and the product's been around for about 6. The product is Video, and you could think about it as video went digital some time ago, and now, like all things digital, it's moving to the world of AI. So Video is visual AI. Anything that you can see, Video can see. 6 years ago, it started off as a forensic search platform. It's by far the fastest, most accurate forensic search tool on the market. You can search through terabytes of data for a red backpack or a partial license plate using standard cameras. You can look for a partial license plate, a behavior, anything that you're looking for, any object of interest. You could find it in seconds, just like Google. You just punch it in and it gives you those results. We then went over to security applications, weapon detection, virtual fences, etc. We ventured into safety applications, ventured into access control after that as well, using facial recognition and LPR to open up gates and doors. And now we've even ventured into operations. So if there's issues in steel being manufactured, in paper being made, on your assembly line, if there's any defect, we could call that out instantly and shut down the operation line. So it's anything visual that you can see, Video can see, you can search for it in seconds or have it alert you in seconds as well. You can imagine this working with your favorite VMS manufacturer or have this working with your IP camera of choice. If you can get the RTSP stream from it, we can go ahead and analyze that camera or analyze that stored video on your VMS and work with that footage. So we have the real-time component, we have the forensic component, and then you could think about this as being open source, open integration, working with doors or gates. To give you an example, my gym here in Orange County has adopted this platform for their access control for 24-hour access. I go up to the door, it recognizes my face, it checks that across the database, their gym management software. So outside of the security industry, it recognizes that database, it checks my face, makes sure my membership's good, and then it pops open the door for me and then checks me into their gym. So if you have other siloed pieces of information, we could work with that, help automate and do the heavy lifting for you between these platforms. We have our core application, which I'll show you today. You can access this via a web browser. You just go to your server. This is not necessarily in the cloud, though we do have a cloud option. A server can be on-site, on-prem, completely air-gapped, cut off from the outside world, no cloud or internet connection needed. It could run completely on that local network, and you could access that server within the network, or if you're outside the network, you could punch in from outside the network and access that server. You could have this across multiple servers and multiple sites, acting as one federated unit, however you want to run this. But the way you would access it is just a web browser. I'll show you on Google Chrome. We have a mobile application for iPhone and Android. It's just a condensed version of the core application. We also have a camera app, which turns your iPhone or your Android phone, it turns that camera into a security camera on your system. So if you want to have license plate reader on your iPhone, you absolutely can. You could put your iPhone in your dash. If you're say a police department or a patrol unit, you could have this on your vehicle, on your patrol unit. You could drive around, and in real time, it will display your LPR database onto your cell phone. And if there's an unauthorized person, a stolen plate, it'll warn you on your phone, and then have those sequences tied into your preferred VMS vendor. And then the last thing, we have a DIY application that just came out. Our team is here to help build out any integrations that you need. We work closely with CCTV to make sure we could tailor these products for you. If you have a specialized application that needs a certain analytic, uniforms, or a behavior, we actually have a software toolkit that you can use to develop your own engines, and it only takes a few hours to teach it what a drone is or what a certain package looks like. And if it's anything more complicated than that, please reach out to us and we'll work with you to develop that in-house with our team of scientists. Let me kind of skip through some of these. I'll make sure CCTV has this presentation. We could share it after as well if you want to look at more of the details. I just want to hit on this slide. Again, I said if you can see it, then Video can see it and understand it. Up at the top left, you can see that we could do avalanche detection. We could do smoke fire detection. We have Angeles panning, looking for smoke and fire before it breaks out. We have this on-prem on heavy machinery such as a crane, and it shows the operator on a tablet if anyone's in its blind spot, if anybody is underneath the payload of the crane, if anybody does not have a hard hat, safety vest, or gloves on, the operator gets notified immediately. We have this around fish farms and parking lots to detect for particular species of birds, and we could play their bird of prey and shoot lights up in the air to scare the birds away. A few years ago, we started working with infant wards. We could take a standard 2 megapixel camera and look at an infant, and we could give you the data that's its blood flow, its heartbeat, its breathing patterns, and it's just as accurate as the other intrusive methods of having monitors and straps and nozzles bothering the baby. You could just have a 2 megapixel camera collecting all that data for you just as accurately. We work with major league sports teams. We could automate statistics. They pay gobs of money to statisticians to look at every single player on every single play. AI can automate a lot of that process. We have this in substations, power plants, utilities. You can look at devices. You can see if water levels have overflown, if there's oil spills. You can look at dials and breakers and gauges, if they're pointing a certain direction or reading a certain number, or a kill switch is a certain direction, if there's sparks or corrosion. You could get that alert instantly. It's impractical to rip and replace a lot of this machinery to bring it to the IoT, and it's maybe too costly. You could just have visual analytics on it and get those alerts in real time. Just a couple more. We work with nationwide retailers. We could detect the capacity of a shopping cart and understand how full that shopping cart is. And we could pay attention to which items are going into that shopping cart. If you see here, somebody is loading up power tools to walk out with them. So we could detect that they're loading up power tools, the same exact manufacturer, and we could send that signal to loss prevention to go intercept this cart before it makes it out the door. We could do driver's license reader. We could do our facial recognition. We could couple those together to do ID verification to make sure that that person's holding that passport is that correct person, or holding that driver's license is indeed that person going into an access control, into an HOA, into an airport, whatever it may be. And then we do have a temperature detection. So everything you've seen here, even the LPR, outside of the phone, is all 2 megapixel camera. We do have a partnership with GANS Thermal and their VMS as well. GANS and us, we've partnered together to deliver one of the fastest, most accurate temperature detections on the market. It's software only outside of the IP camera and thermal camera. There's no hardware black body needed. You can accurately tag about 100 people's temperature per minute. If there's an elevated temperature, you can search across all of your cameras, create a timeline of where that person has been over the last 2 weeks and do what you need to do. Download that for liability and go disinfect those areas and whatever your local jurisdiction requires. Let me skip through. We have won awards with the Department of Defense and the ISC West. Again, we'll send this over to cctv.net to distribute. We do have integrations. Every other month, we have a very large update. You can see we have most of the major VMSs here. We have GANs, we have you name it. And if there's something that you're looking for, we would be happy to build it out for you as well. And that's sort of the overview of what the company is, what the product is. Now I want to jump into a live product demonstration and show you the video search feature. Okay. So I am in Google Chrome and I am punching into the server in our headquarters in Connecticut. I'm over on the West Coast. In this account, we have cameras that are throughout the nation, in Europe, in Asia, and they're all pulling in to one federated unit, acting as one unit. We have the different analytics here. We will be showing the video search, depending on what's in your server. There could be facial recognition, driver's license, statistics, and more. But we'll just focus on this for now. So we could look through the cameras. We could choose which cameras we want, which ones we want to leave out. We could choose a time frame you want to search across. Even after the fact, if you have, let's say, a body cam footage, you could even upload this and we could scrub that for analytics after the fact as well. Or maybe you have a channel on your VMS that didn't have analytics running on it. You could always pull that in after the fact and scrub it as well. You could do an actual Google-like video search here if you wanted to. Or you could do vehicle, person, animals. We could even detect cows and cows going into labor, cows giving birth, and objects as well. So here we'll start with a broad search. We'll just say, just show me any scene that at least has one black car in it. It could have much more than that, but at least one black car. And you can see, just like Google, in 2.1 seconds, there's nearly 50,000 results across about 50 cameras or so, hours of footage. And if we just click in here, this was actually from seconds ago. This is Abbey Road in London, and you can see that it pulled up a black vehicle here. And there's other things, other objects in the scene as well. But let's drill down. Now we're at 50,000. Let's run a completely different search. Let's say a black BMW 5 Series. You could run that, and you could see in a split second, you have 6 results. And if we pop in here, this is an older 5 Series. But it's a black BMW 5 Series, and this is off a standard 2 megapixel. This is maybe 20 or 30 feet up in the air. It's fairly close on this, but it's still not ideal for most LPR cameras. But this is, again, a 2 megapixel. It's mounted pretty high, and you have cameras going or vehicles going 20 or 30 miles an hour down the way, and it's able to detect that make and model. And let's say all you know is that the license plate had 007 in it. Let's say we're looking for James Bond here. We could even just put in a partial license plate, and it'll bring up any car that at least has 007 in the license plate. And there's 12 results in 1.6 seconds. And if we hop in here, it was able to detect the LPR off a 2 megapixel camera, same one we were just looking at. Of cars parked over here, maybe 40, 50 feet away. Again, this is 20, 30 feet up. And you see 007 and so on. You can see a BMW is going down the street, 007 in that as well. And you can see that it's tagging this and cataloging all of these license plates. This BMW is not on a list. If it were on a list, that can be an alert right away. We've worked with police departments to put this around the choke points of their city. And some police departments in their first 30 days, in their proof of concept, in their pilot stage, we had one police department in particular that was able to intercept 12 vehicles using this. So they put it on the choke point, they put LPR, they tied it into their database of 35,000 suspect vehicles. And just from vehicles going past it, they were able to get that alert. As opposed to some of these were out for more than 18 months. The previous method is you have to pull that person over, you have to run their license plates, you have to see that it's a stolen vehicle. Now you could just have the cameras looking 24/7, constantly updating with your database, constantly tagging vehicles. And if there's a hit, everyone gets notified right away. You could even stack multiple objects if you wanted to. Black vehicle and a backpack. You could get results from there as well. And you could even do person, their age bracket, if they're male or female, if they're wearing equipment, PPE equipment or not, groups of people, colors of clothing, you name it. So that's sort of the high level there. This is just the video search, but we have many more options, 25 different categories, and we're constantly cranking out more. So with that, I want to leave it there and leave it open for questions and see if, Jack, were there any questions that came in during that time?
Yeah, we have two questions actually that came in from social media. The first came from John on Facebook, and he's wondering about data set integration for access control. His question is specifically if they already have a data set, what type of assistance is provided in terms of integration?
Excellent. So if they already have a data set, maybe they have a lightweight database, an LDAP, it would be no problem for us to sync with that. Oh, the account that I'm in here, it's lacking the permissions, but there's an easy configuration where you could put in that registrar or that database that you have, and you could sync it up. We also have ways to import Excel sheets, and we could work with you to set up a script to make that possible and make that seamless as well. So we'll make sure to take care of you.
Fantastic. And the second question came in from an anonymous user on Twitter, and the question here is, in terms of your search results for the keyword searches that you were doing, are those tags generated and preloaded by Video into the system, or do the users themselves have to create tags?
Oh, that's great. So we have both options. We have dozens of tags in here, but then you can also create your own hashtag if you want as well. A good example is that we have an integration with gunshot detection, and we have that create a special tag. So you can look for that specific incident. You can create tags for morning shift, or you could create hashtags for certain vehicles, Amazon vehicles, let's say. But yeah, there's a way you could create your own tags, but it comes out of the box with dozens of tags.
Fantastic. That's all the questions we got from social media then, unless at this point we have any other questions from our users, anyone who tapped in directly to the live stream. We can open it at this point.
Okay, it sounds great.
Yeah.
And please keep them coming. If not, we could always take this offline as
Yeah,
well.
let's just give like 15 more seconds. Sometimes people have a minute, but it looks like not. We have no more questions coming in from social media and none here. So thank you so much, Nathan. And thank you to everybody who joined into the webinar, both directly and from social media. It was a great presentation.
Thank you, and we look forward to working with everyone. Take care.
You too. Have a nice afternoon, everybody.